Hey YouTube, what's up? Nate here again. I had this like weird idea that I just really wanted to like talk through and just have some fun with the video. The title for this is Moments You Wish You Could Have Been Somewhere. Some of mine relate to music, some of mine relate to games, and there is a meme one. Before I get into my picks, I want you to think of moments that you personally wish you could have been. I'm picking a lot of video games and music things, but just things that like personally resonate with you that you just wish. Maybe you were too young or, just something didn't work out and it's something, or like now you knew something was happening 10 years ago, but you weren't a fan of the thing or were interested in that thing 10 years ago, and now you are, and you're like, oh, I've seen videos or that. Yeah, so I'd be really interested to know what yours are. But in saying all that, I'll actually bring up the thing that inspired me to even record this video, and that's Daft Punk's Alive 2007. They recorded that in France, and I thought we would get another tour of that someday, and we just like never did. So I was listening to the album a couple days ago, and it just really, I just always, it's one of those things I just really wish I could have been there for. It's just incredible to really think about. The year it was, 2007. Behind me will be Alive 2007 footage, and it's just try and think about that time, 2007. Look at all the other things that were happening in that year, and then like contextualize being there and witnessing that. It's wild and very ahead of its time, where even now it feels, to me, it still feels very like futuristic, and it wasn't even like, sure, yeah, it was a concert, right? But there was a whole experience right around part of the show where they start playing the Brainwasher and Prime Time of Your Life, that like the whole thing just goes. You're just like in a different world. Reminds me a lot of what they did with Tron Legacy and how they like made their appearance for in that, with that aesthetic in mind, with like Derezed and everything. I mean, they did the whole soundtrack, but it's incredible. And if you've never listened to that album or like are familiar with their music, like I would say to do yourself a favor and look into it. And even if you don't know the songs, listen to Alive 2007 and then like try and actually like get context for like what the songs are outside of it. And you just see that like the whole thing is just like, for anybody who's a fan of Daft Punk and like likes what they do, it's just Easter egg after Easter egg of just references. It's so good. My other one is another concert event. It's Coheed and Cambria. I'm a big Coheed and Cambria fan. I will never probably ever shut up about them. Their Never Ender sets that they did, when they had finished their first 4 albums, they basically had a week, or it was four days, where they each night they would play every album in succession, because they have like a larger concept. They have like their albums are all like one story. That was the ending of the original series that they had called the Amory Wars. Oh, my hand disappeared in the green screen. And they played everything from night 1 to night 4, like everything straight through, including like deep cuts that were bonus tracks like 2113, and they still do that now, but they do it one album at a time, where that specific one was all 4 in that period. It would either be that, or they did a show in like, I think Santa Monica, California. It's like not far from me, at an art gallery, like in a parking lot of this art gallery, of their album, one of my favorites, The Afterman. I'd probably pick that. Another moment I picked was for video games is Evo Moment 37, which is the iconic Justin Wong versus Daigo, Ken versus Chun-Li. It's a fighting game tournament, Street Fighter Third Strike, where Ken basically parries every single hit, which is like requires a frame perfect input, parries every single hit and goes for the win. So I just think that the hype there, and the hype of that was probably like I'm still talking about it to this day. A lot of people still refer to that moment to this day. So I think that would be one thing I would really like to see, as someone who like, I like game design. I like that environment as well. I love competitive stuff like that. That must have been crazy to really be at. So that would be my other pick for moments. For my next one, I put down Metallica playing a concert in their Black Album era, which is like the height of their popularity. I would still argue they're still there, given the tours that they do internationally. They're just on a scale of like no other band. But I can imagine seeing them when all they had was the Black Album, and anything before that, that's like peak to me. There's a lot of like band interaction with the fans. There's like a segment I know that like James Hetfield and Lars Ulrich, the guitar player and drummer, do, where they both play drums, because James Hetfield actually originally played guitar or he originally played drums growing up, and then he switched over to guitar. And there's like funny moments like that where all the band members switch instruments. So like Lars is on vocals, and just like the amount of music they were playing every night. I believe the concerts, the recorded ones they did, were like 3 hours long. They would have an opener, but you were there all night. Like it would start at like 8 or 9 and wouldn't end till midnight or 1 in the morning. Like that's crazy. And it's stuff I watched as a teenager that, you know, I still hold really precious to me, and like it's like defines all like why I like that band so much. Is just they were killing it. They did that for like 3 or 4 years, I think, starting in the US and then went around the world. So I'd love to go to one of those, which I believe the one that's recorded, that's their popular one for box set or whatever they did, was San Diego in like 1992. That would be where I would pick. And then another video game one I picked was the Super Smash Bros. Melee premiere for the GameCube, showing off the new Smash Brothers. I would love to have been in that hallway at E3 when they unveiled the opening cutscene to Super Smash Bros. Melee. That seems wild. I was watching a video recently about the development of Melee and just how quick of a turnaround it was, and just the amount of work that they put into it and it paying off for them. Like that's the era. If you haven't noticed, a lot of my things are like mid to late 2000-ish, except for the Metallica one. It was just a different time. They're like, yeah, internet leaks happen and people were excited, but it just feels different because there wasn't the influx of recordings and phones, and it makes me feel like I sound like a boomer. just that amount of hype, that's like, to me, that's like lightning in a bottle. Like you won't get that any other time for a long time because things leak, or we already know things, or culture's just different, I guess. So these are like that's one for me. Like the crowd is screaming by the end of that thing. And when because you know we were spoiled by Smash Brothers Ultimate. I mean, even me, like I remember Brawl being a big deal, but they showed off Zelda and people were like, whoa. Like you could hear the crowd, like people were like gasping, like, oh my gosh, it's Peach, or like it's Bowser, because that was just unheard of. We only had the original like 8 characters, and then is it 10 after unlocking everything? I think it's 12 total in Smash 64. So it was wild because that roster kept going, and there were characters that weren't even in the trailer. I think that would be my other pick, would be the Smash Brothers Melee like opening cutscene being premiered at E3. I would love to be in a room with that. And I have a meme one that I genuinely would have wanted to go to, and that's the Denny's Grand Slam. It's the one where the guy's like, what's up? What's up? What the f is up, Denny's? It's like the hardcore show that this band called Within Without, I believe is what their name is. They are performing there for like the benefit at Denny's that's closing soon. So they like had a bunch of like hardcore bands show up, and like all proceeds go to the people who own the Denny's. And so like it sparked this meme where the actual benefit show was called the Denny's Grand Slam. And it's a bunch of, it's hilarious. You're gonna see it here for sure, but definitely like watch the whole thing. It's awesome. It's really good. Those are my moments I wish I could have been somewhere. I'd really love to hear yours and things that personally resonate with you as well. Yeah, I hope that helped you figure out things that you would want to see and be a part of. Hopefully, you know, we have the foresight of people that are smart and don't miss out on things, that we don't miss out on things that we actually want to be at. But if you like the video, feel free to subscribe. And that's all for me. Feel free to follow me on social media. I'm at What's Up Nate. Thanks for being here. I hope you like this really off the wall thing I made. I've been feeling a little more chill about videos where they're not giving me anxiety anymore. I won't even say new stuff coming soon. Just I'll be around. I'm around. Just have a good rest of your day. I don't know what I'm trying to say. Bye for now.